Hello, welcome, or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. This is a reading for Taurus, wherever Taurus is in your chart. Shout out to Taurus. I'm a Taurus sun. So hopefully you're feeling something with Uranus being out of Taurus, at least for the time being. I know it's going to go back in. But yeah, that was creeping over my sun and Chiron conjunction. So that's fun. Anyway, it's going into my 12th house, and for me, I do feel like my brain is scrambled. Anyway, so let's see. I wasn't even going to do this reading quite yet, but I kept thinking about doing it. Literally, I was like, oh my gosh, fine. Let me go do this so I can just move on. Think about something else. Like, oh my gosh, So anyway, here we are. Like I said, I just wasn't prepared. So I'm like, what am I talking about? I know my last round of profile readings, I was saying how I'm not using CapCut to edit videos anymore. I'm not editing videos at all anymore. So, however the readings go, whatever happens, it's going straight from camera to YouTube. So, if my dog is freaking out in the background, if I have no clue what I'm talking about, if I'm sitting here in silence, for a couple minutes, because it takes time sometimes for words to get from my mind to my mouth, then all of that is going to be in here. And truthfully, I'm only saying that because I'm still highly judging myself for that. And, to me, like if I say it out loud first, then, it softens a blow if other people judge me, I guess, So anyway, the other announcement is that after these rounds of readings, I do have the intention of doing the human design profile readings as well. I'm not quite convinced, but at least right now I do have the intention to do those. But I am going to be taking a break after this round of readings, at least for a month or two. It very well could be permanent. I don't do like a set schedule of when I post readings. I literally just wait for the energy to show up, and then I start feeling pushed and nudged to sit down here and do the readings, just like the Taurus one. I was just like, it literally just kept cycling through my brain. So whenever that feeling pops up, it's like a little birdie in the back of my head. That's when I do these readings. And when that guidance message, whatever, showed up, it was immediately preceded with, and then take a break. And then that was immediately preceded with, and it might be permanent. Just a whisper thrown in there, which I'm not going to lie, kind of hit me in the gut. Very unexpected. But also, I definitely do feel like I need a little bit of a break. I started EMDR therapy recently, and that has been unexpected in the best way possible. But I feel like even the image on this card, like I feel like my energy is kind of stretched out and separated, and I just need some time, space, grace, all of this shit, for me to kind of put myself back together and, figure out the reclaimed energy and emotion that I'm experiencing. Like, what do I do with that? So anyway, but yeah, this channel is the only consistent thing that I've done over the last 3 years, except for breathe. And, I love it. It's been great, but also it's just hasn't reached the level of success that I was hoping for. And it's just kind of one of those things of, am I getting the same amount of energy as I'm putting into it? And or could my energy be best guided somewhere else where I am, receiving energy, back. So I don't know if it does become a permanent decision, I will post about that. It very well may just be a break until I feel guided to either come back or until I get clarity on not. So anyway, like I said, right? I mean, Uranus went into my 12th house. Neptune and Saturn are in my 10th house. So I think it is a lot, Jupiter's in my first. Like it's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Reevaluating things and what's working, what's not, like what is the truth of things too. So anyway, I like I said, I hope that you're all doing well. My dog is like licking his feet and I'm like, nah. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me. So I don't know if you could even hear that or not. It's just my brain. Weird. So for Taurus, what do we got? What couldn't wait? What couldn't wait for Taurus? The Justice card. Love that. For Taurus. I don't take the cards that flip in the deck because I just don't take them seriously. We want commitment over here. So the card does have to come out of the deck. If it flips in the deck, I just flip it back over. There's been plenty of times where a card that flipped did end up coming out. So that's what I mean, right? Like, make a decision, commit to it. What else for Taurus? What's with this Justice card? Okay, I'm not taking... I'm not taking any of these. For being so pushy, it sure is taking a little bit here. What else with this Justice card for Taurus? I love that on the Justice card it says, stick to your truth and everything will turn out just fine. Love this. We have the Fool card or the Cozy Witch. Take a chance for each morning is a new beginning. We have the Eight of Pentacles. We have the Ten of Wands. The Tower at the bottom of the deck. It's like kind of later afternoon and the lighting is really weird. Four of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. Okay. Let me make sure. Oh, we can move things over a little bit here. Okay. So the Justice card, Cozy Witch or the Fool. Eight of Pentacles, Ten of Wands, the Tower at the bottom of the deck. Interesting that the Fool is Uranus or Uranus, whatever. There was a video I saw on TikTok. This guy was saying how he doesn't believe in astrology, but he researches it and he follows it. But he was like going on this rant about how people mispronounce Uranus as Uranus. And obviously I blocked him because shut up. I don't believe in astrology, but I follow it and I research it. Shut up. And that a man said it. But also, I think I've just called it Uranus forever. That Uranus, I literally can't. It's like a sensory thing. It literally makes me want to gag saying it that way. Like same with heretic owl. I've pronounced it heretic ever since I started like researching and getting into human design. Like that's how the name of the channel of my business came to be, because I'm a 5-1 profile in human design. The fifth line is the heretic, and then owl was kind of like to represent the first line. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that it is pronounced heretic, and I can't. I cannot. I cannot pronounce it that way because I'm like, ugh, ugh, I cannot do it. Heretic owl, bro, come on. Anyway, that's my rant. So, what was I talking? Oh, because the Fool is Uranus. I'm just being facetious now. Uranus. So I think that is really effing interesting, you know, and obviously it would depend on where Taurus is in your chart. Obviously, if you're a Taurus rising, this is coming out of your first house. So like for the last 7 or 8 years, there's been this uranic focus on yourself, your identity. You know, your Uranus, I know, I'll stop, is like the planet of the unexpected, which is like the Tower energy. So it's interesting that both of those energies are in your reading. But if you are a Taurus rising, again, right, that's going into your second house of money, possessions, materials, luxury, and whatever placements that you have in Gemini. You know, like Uranus is going to be having an effect on those placements in some capacity. So, you know, I mean, over the next 7 or 8 years, there's going to be this focus on your finances, on what you do with them, how you get them, even to like what you place worth and value on. You know, like maybe you have a better idea of that as far as like yourself goes. Maybe you had some just, you know, aha moments or downloads, or, you know, some sort of clarity around yourself with Taurus, if you are a first house Taurus. And then with it moving into Gemini, it's almost too like, okay, you know, how do those values now fit in with how I handle or I manage money, or how I place value on the possessions that I have, or even my own personal worth. Like I said, you know, it's going to, like, I'm a Cancer rising, so Taurus was my 11th house. I have very little friends anymore. I spend 99% of my time alone with my dog. I have, you know, a few close friends that I love, that I cherish, that I'm absolutely grateful. But I did lose or quote unquote lose a few friends that I honestly thought that I was going to be friends with forever. Also, you know, I mean, the 11th house is also like hopes and dreams. I feel like there was a huge shift for me in what I want out of life. and I feel like I'm still kind of trying to figure that out a little bit, but I definitely feel way more clear on that now than I did before. And also, towards the end of this transit, I found a local community that is about healing and connection and whatever. And, like communities and groups of people have not usually been safe for me, but I feel called to show up in that capacity. So I think that's really cool. Um, like I said, my sun is conjunct Chiron. So, yeah, in the 11th house. So, and even the fact of starting EMDR therapy when I did, and that being very like 12th housey and, really digging into my subconscious, like really going beneath the healing that I've already done over the last 12 years. And really like digging into the emotion that is stuck in my body. So again, that's just as an example. But like I said, I do think that it is kind of interesting that we have the card out here of Uranus, where Venus is. Where's Venus right now? Is it still in Taurus? It might be going into Gemini too. Anyway, can we start talking about the card? So the Justice card again, it says, "Stick to your truth, and everything will turn out just fine." The Justice card talks about the scales balancing, fairness. I mean, maybe you have some. Maybe you are like the Pluto and Libra generation if you're a millennial. But yeah, the scales balancing, fairness, karma, to getting back what you put in. I love that this person, this witch on this card, they're wearing their judge robe, or whatever that's called, but they have sweatpants and slippers on, and they're like working at home. So it's like it's kind of like both sides of the coin. Like it's being in your professional capacity, but then also balancing that with casual, or maybe even being able to manage that a bit better. Like this feels very like work from homey to me. And you can just like throw on a business, looking shirt and blazer or whatever if you need to be like on a Zoom meeting, but like literally you're wearing sweats or shorts or whatever, but still, I mean, still being able though, right, to like do handle your business in the full capacity. I think the book actually talks about being able to, right there. Let's see. Sorry. A little overzealous. Once, someone made the mistake of telling this formidable judge that it wasn't feasible for her to practice both the law and the craft. So, naturally, she took that as a challenge and chose to do both. In a serious tone, she tells you, being honest with others is extremely important, of course, but being honest with yourself is just as important. As long as you've been doing both, you have nothing to worry about. You will be treated with the same fairness reflected in your actions. If you pulled this card and personal justice is what you are looking for, then you can sleep soundly knowing that everything will likely rule in your favor. she delivers with a reassuring wink in your way. It feels like having your cake and eating it too, type of thing. But there's a strong emphasis on truth too. Stick to your truth and everything will be just fine. You know, it's like remaining in integrity, not cutting corners, not trying to get over on other people or whatever just to get your way. But truly, if there is a situation that you're almost like trying to strategize around, literally the truth in this situation and most situations, right? The truth really is the way to go. And I think most of us too, you know, like we're so worried that the truth isn't going to get us what we want, that you know, again, like we start strategizing, like, you know, how can I, you know, come up with a scenario or a story to make this, you know, swing in my way, in my favor, right? But literally this time it really is only going to benefit you by sticking to the truth. And then the Fool card, it says, take a chance, for each morning is a new beginning. The Fool card is a leap of faith. You know, it's trusting the process. It is that belief that things will work out. You know, if you take that leap, a net is going to catch you, because it always does. Whatever it is that you need always tends to show up. It's just, again, you know, the fear or not honoring the truth too, you know. I haven't had a chance to read the book on this card yet, so let's do that. Meet the cozy witch who barely slept a wink last night because she was so excited by the promise of a new day. Please. Oh, good for her. But no, I need my sleep. Okay? Like, no. I need my 8 hours. Like the cozy witch, you too have an adventure awaiting you just outside your front door. When an amazing chance presents itself, take it, because you might regret not doing so later. However, before you go, keep in mind that the world is an unpredictable place. See, that's a Uranus shit. While there's magic to experience, you will inevitably experience some obstacles too. Success is never guaranteed, but success isn't always the point of the journey. Sometimes the self-discovery that happens along the way is the point. Yeah, okay. You know, I mean, it really is like that whole, like, you know, it's the journey, not the destination thing, but also like, and I feel like I didn't even really quite grasp that until the last year. And I had to like reframe it as like, do it for the plot. Because like, truly, if we are just so focused on the goal, we miss out on so many opportunities to enjoy the journey and allow for there to be unexpected surprises, good or bad, right? I mean, most times we're trying to prevent ourselves from feeling uncomfortable feelings like disappointment or rejection or, you know, whatever, the other shoe dropping, you know, getting excited about something and for it to not work out, you know, like, so we just kind of tend to put our blinders on. But also, you know, and I 100% understand that, but also some of those unexpected disappointments, it's that reframing rejection as redirection. Because truly what isn't for you, you shouldn't have, like even no matter what. It's like the Unanswered Prayers song with Garth Brooks, right? One of my all-time favorite songs of Garth Brooks, Unanswered Prayers. Because it truly, like if you would get exactly everything that you think you want, there is a chance that you wouldn't be happy with it. You think you might be, because usually that's coming from, like you want these things because you don't already have them, and you feel like if you did, then it would change your life. You would feel differently, you would operate differently, whatever, right? Fucking singing to the choir here. It's so much easier to say though, right? But listen, I'm doing this with you. Like this is very much in my consciousness also. Because it prevents us from experiencing so much potentially good stuff that we couldn't have imagined ourselves enjoying, loving, whatever, right? So again, it's like, doing it for the plot. And if anything, you have a story to share with people. And if anything, you have more clarity on what it is you do want and what it is you don't want. What is working for you, and like what isn't. But like I said, it is very Uranic energy, because there are unexpected things. But also it's like leaving for there to be a little room for unexpected good stuff. Maybe you have a conversation with somebody and that leads to a conversation about their company hiring for a position that you are more than qualified for. And, maybe it comes with a raise, or it at least will get you the same amount of money that you're making now. So you don't have to have to take a loss to leave a job, but maybe it's more in alignment with you. Maybe it's closer to home. So, you save money and time in commuting. Maybe, you do the work from home thing. Since I mentioned that, I'm in part kind of focusing on the work thing because the Eight of Pentacles is here. But I mean, this can, of course, be internal work too. Like putting yourself out there, allowing yourself to, experience a thing that you have an interest in or that you have, wanted to try, allowing yourself to be seen. Let me turn on the fan because all of a sudden I am warm up in here. Okay. Yeah, the Eight of Pentacles says, sorry, but fairies aren't going to come do all the work for you. Damn it. What are they good for? The Eight of Pentacles is about putting in the time, showing up, putting in the work. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our time and our energy. Where are we investing our time? Usually we exchange our time and energy for money. Are you being compensated properly for that? It's also your physical body and your health. Anything tangible, anything that you place worth and value on, which again is interesting. It is Earth, but it's interesting that we were even talking about that if you are a Taurus rising, as far as Uranus going into your second house and that being a focus. Because like, where are you spending your resources? Where are, like what materials do you have at your disposal? How are we managing how are we managing overall while the United States crashes and burns? The book, because this card has come out a couple times, the book talks about how at first this witch couldn't make a single fairy house in a day when she first started, but now she can make 8 in a day. And she wouldn't have been able to develop that skill if other people were doing the work for her. So truly, right? I mean, this is about you showing up and doing the work. It's also knowing that, you know, I mean, like how many hours does it take to master a thing? Is it like 2,000 hours or something like that? Is it 2,000 or is it 10,000? Let's see. 2,000. Well, I mean, 2,000 is a lot of hours. That's, you know, you work 2,000 hours in a year if you're working 40 hours a week. So if you think that you're putting in 40 hours a week for a whole year, imagine, you know, the difference that will happen. You know, I mean, it is literally impossible to not get better at something by putting that much time into it. And of course, to, you know, like the only way to really learn is to do it yourself. It also says, who knows, you might teach other people how to make fairy houses at one point. Maybe you're going to become a trainer. Maybe you move into a position where you are a trainer or like a mentor, you know, versus whatever you're doing now. Like, I don't know. What do you do? You know, like, maybe that has an appeal to you. Maybe maybe you meet somebody who has the knowledge that you need to elevate your skills. We have the 10 of Wands after that, which is why make things much more difficult than they need to be. I'm curious what I keep hearing, like the book has a message. I try to like talk about the card first before I like pick up the book, and I love reading from guidebooks because like some people are like, ugh, I don't like when readers read from the guidebooks. Why? Like an author literally put this together. I love like reading other people's perspective on things. Like that's how we pick up nuance, is by listening to multiple, you know, opinions or people's comprehension of things, you know, like, oh, I never even thought about it like that, but I can see how, you know, it would fit in there. And now I have more nuance in my bank. Anyway, can you believe this witch didn't think she'd need a box to transport all these candles from her car to the Samhain celebration? I know, why am I pronouncing that wrong? To most, it probably seems like it's way too much for one person to carry. Oh, that's why, because I'm just losing my words in general. The hell? But don't worry. She knows she can manage it. After all, this is nothing compared to her weekly grocery trips. However, there's no denying that it didn't have to be done this way. In a reading, this may indicate that you're nearing the end of a long, tireless endeavor. Hooray! However, it's like, yes, but However, make sure that you're not making any unnecessary work for yourself. You aren't getting extra credit points here. So just do whatever is necessary to get it done and then move on. Tens are completion. You know, the Ten of Wands does usually talk about a burden, but it's like the end of said burden. I see wands as being information by way of experience. Um, because that's what you get by trying things. We figure out what works, we figure out what doesn't work. What do we like? What don't we like? It's literally like life experiences. It's literally the part of the plot, right? Like things come up, things happen, right? And lesson learned. Now we have more experience, good, bad, otherwise, right? It's not always bad. That's just what we tend to focus on. Most of us, some of us, me, um, not to like speak for everybody, um, but we're never starting from scratch. We are always starting from experience. So I love that, like these two cards, like this is talking about, putting in the time, the effort, to gain that experience. And this is saying that, if that experience or what you have been doing has felt like a burden, that is coming to an end. And also I love the reminder of like not making it more difficult for yourself, like not staying in the chaos or the burden just because that's what you've grown accustomed to, right? It's like recognizing if something isn't working out, you keep pushing, you keep trying, you keep tweaking things, right? Like switching it up or whatever. Did I say that twice? I don't know. But it's like it's allowing yourself to move forward. Just be like, fine. Fine. I'm leaving it. Like I'm not giving this thing any more energy. I have better things that I could be focusing my time and attention on. And I'm also very much one of those people that will only make one trip into the house with groceries. Um, I get unreasonably irritated if I can't carry everything at once. But also, these days, I don't usually have more than one bag of groceries. Shit's expensive. But yeah, I am definitely that type of person. I kind of love that we have these two cards like setting us up here for these two cards. It's almost like a pep talk or just a, get locked in type of thing. Like I said, we have the Tower at the bottom of the deck. It says, get ready, things are about to get shaken up. The best thing that you can do with the Tower is act like a float or act like a raft and float through it. Like the more that you try to resist the Tower, the more uncomfortable and dismantling and chaotic it'll be. Because truly, the Tower is only going to affect the things that are no longer serving you. But we're holding on to them for whatever reason, right? And life has sent us many, many messages about it, and we're just like, it's like asking for a sign and then being like, not that one. Like the sign shows up and you're like, not that one, a different one. Then the tower is just like, you know what? No, I'm not playing this game anymore, right? Like I'm just going to take it, because truly it's like impeding your process, or like your progress forward. And I think too, like that comes from a place of, like just feeling a sense of lack, or, even trying to like grasp at something, and especially like if things feel very uncertain, or if you don't have the type of clarity that you are hoping to have. It's also, like I've been watching, like the Matrix movies have been my hyperfixation lately. And the white rabbit, no, the Oracle, in the first movie, when he first meets the Oracle. If you haven't watched that movie in a while, you should. I can't believe I was like 13, 14 in the movie theater watching that. Like I had a single effing clue what was going. I didn't. Now I realize I had no clue what that movie was about. I just liked the special effects and the fighting. Anyway, so the Oracle says to Neo, something. I can't remember like verbatim, of course, right now. But it was something along the lines of like, you've already made the choice, you've already made the decision, but now you're trying to figure out why. Right? Like it's not the choice that is confusing. It's why you made that decision, or why that is the choice. And especially if it's like, again, if it comes with some level of uncertainty, or this level of like having to take a leap, it's like, why would I choose that? Especially a Taurus, right? Could you imagine like a bull just taking a leap of faith? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe they would, but try pushing a bull to do that, right? You can't. I mean, it's not gonna, go very well. But at the same time, I feel like if a Taurus has enough information, they'll move fast. They'll move faster than you ever thought a bull could move. But not until they feel comfortable with their level of information. I don't know, you can tell me if I'm wrong about that, but that's how I feel being a Taurus sun. So the book says there's a big storm brewing, and with it comes a sudden and unexpected loss. The treehouse this witch spent their childhood in, it was the first space they had away from the rest of the world, where they were free to read any book or cast any spell they wanted. Don't get me wrong, I'm sad, they begin, sniffling a little, but deep down, I know this is for the best. Upheavals like the ones you and the witch are experiencing never happen without good reason. If we never leave our comfort zones, we never experience anything new or grow. When it all comes crumbling down, choose to see this as a perfect opportunity to construct something better in its place. And the Four of Pentacles is behind that. It says treat yourself to something shiny every now and again. But the Four of Pentacles is that lack and scarcity mindset. Like that is where it begins and leads into the Five of Pentacles, which is the manifestation of that lack and scarcity. So if you are kind of working on, again, your own value, your own worth, right? I mean, like being compensated properly, maybe wanting to change work in whatever capacity that is for you. And if it feels like it's a big move, right? Or again, even just that uncertainty can make us feel like this here, like it's not necessarily anything to be impulsive about, but it's more so like something to kind of love yourself through, really. It's releasing the grip that you have on, like, it's literally releasing control, which is really hard to do, because you have to trust that God, source, divine, the universe, energy, yourself even too, will place you exactly where you need to be, will keep you safe, will make sure that things work out. They always do. They always have, in some capacity, in whatever capacity. It's hard to remember that while we're like in the moment, right? Anyway, this was gorgeous. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soonish. Bye.